I'm really uncomfortable talking in front of the camera. But that fits today's video, stepping out of your comfort zone, and I've got my emotional support right here, so. I wanted to have a quick word before the official video starts, so you can skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. Everything I do in this video was a step out of my comfort zone, but it might not look like it to you. I think we're all very used to celebrating the extreme versions of stepping out of your comfort zone. You know, social media makes it easy to root for people who go bungee jumping or talk in front of thousands of people or dance in public like nobody's watching. Those acts, they take a huge amount of courage. There is no question about it. And they make for excellent stories to tell. But they don't make for good examples when it comes to the everyday person. I don't know about you, but stepping out of my comfort zone looks more like talking to a stranger or going to a place I've never been to on my own, or answering the call from a number I don't know, or asking for help or telling someone no. Those acts, they are considered small, but they take a lot of people, as much courage as jumping out of a plane takes others. But they often don't get recognized as acts of bravery, and therefore they don't get the validation that they deserve. And I don't mean by other people, not like on social media, I mean like by ourselves. Other people are capable of talking to strangers, so it's kind of embarrassing that I'm not. Doesn't deserve to be applauded because I should be able to do this in the first place. If you are anything like me, then sometimes you can be really harsh towards yourself. I think it's sad that we put ourselves down when we are being incredibly courageous. So, just in case nobody told you today, you are freaking incredible. And I'm sure that you're doing a really good job. And your story, my story, all those everyday hero stories, they deserve to be told too. They count too. And that is something to maybe keep in mind while watching this video. And I'll see you at the end of it for another uncomfortable chat. So, thank you for watching. People don't leave their comfort zone for no reason. There is always a lure involved, something you want so much that you are willing to be uncomfortable. My lure was Conkers. Let me tell you a story. On a beautiful autumn day, I drove to a place I've never been to. If it hadn't been for the Conkers, I would not have gone, but they lured me out of my comfort zone. To make it easier on myself, I looked up a parking lot in advance. Then I jumped into my car as fast as I could before my mind had a chance to talk me out of it. I drove past the parking lot, obviously, but no worries. I was still fairly calm as I started walking towards the lake. 5 minutes later, not so calm. The lovely autumn sun was frying me alive. My camera bag dug into my shoulder. In one hand, I had my phone following the map, and I still managed to take a wrong turn. My other hand held the leash of an excited dog who pulled ever so slightly, not caring that he was tugging on more than just the leash. I was sweating, I was in pain, I was annoyed and about to lose my shit. Then I arrived, and it's a huge disappointment. Not how I pictured it at all. I can't film here. There are people everywhere, staring, whispering, laughing. Never going to happen. Oh, stop pulling. Why did I come here? Why did I do this to myself? It's not worth it. Those bloody Conkers! So there I was, on this beautiful autumn day in this beautiful place, feeling horribly uncomfortable, wanting to leave. If it hadn't been for the Conkers, I would not have stayed. But they still lured me, so I pushed through. And 1 minute later, I got rewarded for it. But not with Conkers, but by seeing this. This dance of light made me forget the people. I forgot my discomfort. I even forgot the Conkers. Suddenly the sun, that had been boiling me alive, became the lead in this performance. My dog, who had tested my patience, became a fellow witness. The camera bag, which had been stabbing my shoulder, held the tool to capture this moment. And driving past the parking lot let me arrive at the perfect time. If it hadn't been for the Conkers, I would not have gone. If it hadn't been for the Conkers, I would not have stayed. I conquered my discomfort for the Conkers, and I was rewarded for it. And because of that reward, I'm willing to do it again. For a good enough reason, people will leave their comfort zone. For a good enough reward, they will do it again. Processing Conkers takes time. Processing what happened at the lake also took time. But I'm ready to boil it all down and extract the lesson. Going to a new place on my own is a huge step out of my comfort zone. Each time, it sends me on an emotional roller coaster. The brain hates uncertainty, so it kickstarts my fight-or-flight system and anxiety takes over. Looking up a parking lot in advance is just me trying to gain back a little control. Meanwhile, anticipation teams up with self-sabotage. They play a very dark movie featuring all the horrible things that could happen just to convince me not to go. If I still manage to leave the house, I'm already running on low patience. Tiny annoyances feel huge. That transforms my sweet dog tugging on his leash into a monster pulling on my nerves. Eventually, I get hyper-focused on my discomfort. My nervous system refuses to relax until it decides I'm no longer in danger. So the raging sun and my heavy camera bag suddenly turn into enemies. At this point, I'm just fighting the urge to flee, playing chicken with my stress tolerance. And through all of this, I have to remind myself that this is something I actually want to do. My home is my comfort zone. Here everything is familiar and I feel safe and in control. When I step out of it, I enter the growth zone. That's where the challenges are, where I learn, where discomfort exists but is still manageable. The further I travel, the more uncomfortable it gets. If I go too far too fast, I hit the panic zone. Here, everything becomes overwhelming and threatening. There is no space to breathe or process, and every mistake feels dangerous. There are two methods to step out of your comfort zone. The first one I like to call the hammer method. You catapult yourself straight into your panic zone. You relentlessly push yourself until you either fail or succeed. It comes at high risk and can lead to high reward or severe damage. And because it floods you with adrenaline, it can get quite addictive for some. I personally prefer the cushion method. Here you cushion the impact your discomfort will have on you. You decide if you want to take tiny steps or big steps out of your comfort zone, with a thin or a huge cushion. You can make yourself as comfortable being uncomfortable as you want. Progress is slow, but more sustainable. It is important to remember that the goal is not just to step out of your comfort zone, but to expand it. Both of these methods can achieve that. But it will always be the reward you get for your bravery that makes it worth doing it again.
Can I have my emotional support? Hey, gimme! Oh, Chucky, good boy. Hi, Daddy. Hello. Some emotional support so we can have another uncomfortable chat. My comfort zone is not very big, but it used to be non-existent. A couple of years ago, I had a major breakdown, and back then I wasn't even comfortable being all by myself at home. It can get really frustrating when you're trying to claim something back that once was within your comfort zone. You know, going to a new place on my own was something I used to do as a living, and now it's something I struggle with immensely. And it's kind of scary to think what losing the trust you have in yourself can do to your comfort zone and to your ability to step out of it. Over the past couple of years, I used the hammer method and I used the cushion method over and over and over again to get myself to where I am now. And now I live in an apartment, I have a dog, I work 2 jobs, and I just bought my first car. And I'm really proud of myself. But I also have to remind myself of that fact. I'm already 34 and a lot of these things are considered normal at my age. Even more so, people in their 30s often are married, they have children, they work full-time jobs, not part-time jobs, and sometimes they even own houses. And here I am struggling with things that run on autopilot for a lot of other people. And that makes me feel very small. That makes me feel like no matter what I do, I will always be behind and I won't be able to catch up. This habit of comparing yourself to others or to your past self is probably the single worst thing that we can do to make it easier on us to step out of our comfort zone. Because if I compare myself and I always find myself lacking, no matter what I do, no matter what I achieve, it makes the whole thing not really worth it. And we need that reward. We need that reward for our discomfort to make it more likely to do it again and again and again. And we need to step out of our comfort zone again and again and again in order to expand it. But if I tell myself, no matter what I do, it will never be worth it really because I will never be able to catch up, then I don't get the reward that I need to keep trying. That is something to keep in mind. And the other big thing is we are all different. We have different experiences and therefore our comfort zones don't really look alike. Something that is easy for me might be horribly hard for you and vice versa. But we don't see other people struggle anymore because we all don't really talk about it. We don't go and say, hey, you know what? Today I talked to a stranger and I did not run away. But we should. We should celebrate our wins, no matter how small they are considered to be. And we should tell other people, we should remind each other what actual courage really looks like. And not on the big social media scale, but on the small, everyday people kind of scale. If we could learn to cheer for us instead of putting us down, if we could learn to celebrate our wins instead of comparing them to others, if we could learn to root for us and to applaud us, that whole task of stepping out of your comfort zone, that terrifying task, would be so much easier because suddenly there's someone in your corner. So just in case I didn't say it loud enough in the beginning of the video, you are freaking incredible. But you don't need to hear it from me. You need to hear it from yourself. Be that person in your corner that tells you, hey, you've got this. If we would all learn to be more compassionate towards ourselves, fear would lose so much power over us. And discomfort would be less uncomfortable. This is actually fun. All right, one last thing I dare you, because I know this is out of a lot of people's comfort zones, but I dare you, if you want. I just told you one of my discomfort stories, going to a place I've never been to. If you want, leave a comment down below and tell me one of your stories. Something that you struggle with, even if it's something where nobody quite gets why you struggle with it, because it's not a step out of their comfort zone. Let's make it a thing to talk about our struggle again and to remind everyone what courage can also look like. I think that would be very valuable. And you can also read through other comments and maybe be the person in their corner and tell them, hey, you've got this. That would make me very happy to hear about your story. All right, and now I stop blabbering and go cuddle with my emotional support because I've been uncomfortable enough for my taste. Thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to reading your story. Thank you.